Wow. Hey Donut. How you doing, Buster? I completely forgot what we'd left the game at last time, and I like turned on and I was like, oh yeah, the screen shake. This shit looks awesome. I don't know if you guys remembered this. This is awesome. How cool. I also realized something I want to get done today. You'll notice that when I shoot my gun, normally, the bullet comes out at the end, and when I'm next to a wall, I actually make it spawn out of the player's center so it destroys the wall. I noticed that the enemy will try and get really close to you sometimes, and it will shoot through you, which makes sense, right? Like, the gun is on the other end of your hitbox. Does that make sense? Which is likewise, if I shoot this sniper rifle, I expect it'll go over the enemy. Which is funny, but and also maybe a downside to the sniper rifle, but I'm thinking I can at least experiment with making the bullets, if the enemy is between the end of the gun and you, like with the wall, see how it destroys that first wall? Making the bullets spawn out your center as well, and just see how it feels. Shouldn't take too long. I could make it a toggle or whatever, but yeah. How have you been? Can you hear me okay? I found OK Computer in the N64 sound font. And it's fucking awesome. I love Radiohead. I'm English. Don't you know? Whee! Alright, so what was I doing this before? Weapon system, right? Let me think, because this might be a little harder to do. It might also just not be as simple as I thought. When we're doing our this is pretty easy because we're just checking against the map. Checking for enemies nearby would actually require us to check the quad tree, which is not in this system. I don't really have an easy way of saying, is there an enemy here? Unless I specifically put this system after the collision system, put the quad tree in there, and also put the bullet stuff in there, and then make it so I can ask if there's an enemy, because then I can just do a simple line collision or whatever. That's not so hard. I don't know how sensible that sounds. We have our collision system here with our quad tree. Quad tree is already stored, I think, in the registry, and it's emptied at the end of this this lot for good reason. We were getting that. Oh, this is awesome. Paranoid Android. We were getting problems with clearing this at the start. I guess I could clear the quad tree at the end of the whole cycle in a different system, which I don't massively like. I basically just at the end of every loop. Is this in update or tick? This is in tick. At the end of every tick, just in Systems Manager, just clear quad tree in here, and then I was thinking perhaps I could store these all bullets not explosions, etc. To check them later. You can go back to clearing it at the start if you put the memory resource in context as well. The memory resource. Suppose so. This thing. Yeah, that was the issue, right? Because we were clearing it before we'd actually... Like, we said we want this much memory, but we didn't actually put anything in there, so when we did clear, I guess we were hitting stuff out of bounds. They be in the same structure they get deployed in the right reverse order. Yeah, I can do that. Maybe I could have, put with me on this. Maybe I could do something like this. Struct, collidable data, or something. It could have a memory resource. It could have a quad tree. One of these. And it could have these things. I don't know if you can really store a registry view or if that even makes sense. Thanks for the... Didn't you already resubscribe within 83 months? Am I losing my mind? It's not been a month, has it? Maybe it has. Thanks for the resub. I know registry views are pretty quick to construct, so maybe it doesn't really make sense to store it. I know there's many systems where we're just doing the view again, so maybe it doesn't really make sense. Gives you a notification to share it separately. Yeah, that's been a thing on Twitch for like a decade or something. It's a real weird thing. Collision data. Let's have collision data. How about this? Quad tree and memory resource. And we'll put that into components. Game. That's so good. Make sure we're not actually using this somewhere else for some reason. And now we just have to use collision data. It's a little nicer, I think. We'll need to obviously do this. Is initial memory... No, it's just here. Okay, I'll put that in the struct as well. Now, will I need to redo this each time? I feel like maybe I don't know if I do need to resize it each time. Because obviously I can do this. Got release you can call after the clear. Okay, that's really handy. This feels weird. I don't think this is quite right. You can give it initial memory right in the member declaration. Oh, really? Is there a nicer way than doing this reconstruction here? Yes, release. Oh. But I need to... I guess if I instantiate it, I can just do it here. Whoops. Wrong one. Hello, YouTube commenter. There's a... It does need to be .data.size. Right. Have a look in the description. Those should be all the info you need. But then I'll still need to reinstantiate it at the start, right? Or no? Do I still need to call memory resource reinitialize at the start of the function, or is just releasing it at the end fine? It should remember that it has initial memory. I would think so. But does it make sense to reset it at the start? Do I need to construct this? I feel like just having it here as a declaration isn't good. Unless a line as somehow initializes it. You get what I mean? Because before, I guess we were just calling it. It doesn't need to be initialized. That's weird. Just declaring it is enough to get it. Have a look in the description, Amana. Okay. Fine. I guess this is doing something. Allocators just need memory, it doesn't have to be zeroed. Okay. Fair enough. I guess the data structure itself will know how far it's it'll have its own size or something. It'll know where it's initialized and where's uninitialized. Quad tree, we are... Can I even move that out of game? Maybe. I might be able to... Yeah, I think I can just put this in the constructor directly. In which case I can just do this. That's pretty neat, if this works. I just need to make sure that the collision data actually has contents. So I'll need to make sure that in Systems Manager, collision system happens at least before weapon system. Now right now it happens right at the start. I just want to put it afterwards. I don't think there's any massive issue with it happening afterwards. Now you can move clear and release to the start of the function. Yeah. Fair dues. Okay, nice. I pop those at the start. Easy. So now I should be able to perform these views on our quad tree in any system. Is this Banjo-Kazooie? I thought this was just going to be Mario 64. It's not. Holy shit. It works so well. Alright. Hello, Zcrypt. Alright, this still works. Interesting. Okay. That double bullet thing is concerning. Okay. So, if I have a look at my weapon system here, this inside wall should probably be renamed to should shoot from center. Should shoot from entity transform. Bit of a wordy name, but you know, says what it does, huh? So let's just say save ourselves like a split moment. One Boolean check I think is cheaper than unnecessarily performing a ray collision check. Not a massive deal, obviously. Somewhere in here we have a ray. We can do an intersect. And I think it's as simple as performing... Let me think. I think just all collidables... I think all collidables is all I need. Or all not bullets, not explosions. Which should be all the enemy entities, or the player entities in this case. And now in here, we normally do this big quad tree test. Hello, Movie Rush. Try making a project that you're interested in. Not going to need all of this, obviously, but let's just copy it in and then I can hide this and there's a bit of vision. So... Get our collision data quad tree as a reference. We'll do a test based on the center of us. Same way we're doing with the map up here, right? So we'll pass in the entity position. Quad tree again, the entity position. Collision. Nice, we've already got collision here. My hitbox is the following. So let's see. No bullets or explosions. Weird to exclude these when they're not in the list in the first place. So we might be able to save a little bit of time here. Bullet and explode. Yeah, I can actually remove that from the right. I've just noticed something. No point colliding with yourself, obviously. This thing. It's a 2D game, yeah. Hey, Mystic. How you doing, buddy? It's a 2D game, Movie Rush. There's a info in the description. I'm just I'm working on a feature so the bullet normally spawns at the end of the gun, right? But if there's a player NPC in the middle or an enemy in the middle, the gun will actually spawn the bullet after the enemy. So the enemy will not be shot by the bullet. He'll just stand in front of you. So I'm just doing something to check to see if there's an enemy in this line, in which case... Awesome. That being said, I may want to grow this radius by the size of the length of the gun, just to check for any entity nearby, and then I can perform a small array collision. So let's just say to do grow. I don't know if that's necessary. We'll see. It's getting quite warm. It's been pissing down. It's been cold here. Interesting that I do this twice. Like, this is not necessary. I feel like I can just move this out and then type in that. Might be able to do this fix in other places. Yeah, this does not need to be repeated 3 times. Oh, it does inside the for loop, I guess. Hello, Mathis. In which case, it's not really saving a ton of time, just a little. So that should have now added this to a bunch of places. This shit ain't working. Whatever. Bloody multi-cursor. I'll just do it like the old-fashioned way. Last time you've been to the park, it was all green and now it's yellow. Yikes. Was all yellow? It's fine. It's a very mild improvement, but an improvement nonetheless, huh? So now this middle chunk we don't need. So in here, if there's an intersection... Oh, am I not using that? We're doing quadtree.test on this. That's not right. Oh, I should be looping over this. My bad. Could be like this. This. Restless man. Hoping could be tricky. Eucalyptus is nice, yeah. Poisonous though. I'm stupid, aren't I? Yeah. Yeah, it has downsides. Eucalyptus. I do not have a job as a game developer, no. Ah. Interesting. Somewhere I've done something. Let's simplify things. I think I'm going to want to use this. So here we'll want to grow this, I think. We can just grow it large. It's fine, I think. This may be a little much. Great music. It's Radiohead OK Computer with a bunch of N64 sound fonts. It's pretty good, huh? This may not be completely right, but the idea is just a loose collision check. We're just saying if anything's remotely nearby. And then I'll do a smaller check in here. So I'll just do something like this. Let's say...
Fitter, happier, more productive, comfortable, not drinking too much, regular exercise at the gym, 3 days a week, getting on better with your associate employee contemporaries. It is.
I don't understand everything you're doing, but I'm trying.
A patient better driver, a safer car.
This is the player. This is their gun. Bullet will spawn here. If there's an enemy here, then the bullet doesn't hit the enemy. So what I'm doing is saying, if there's an enemy anywhere nearby, there's one, then do a line check from here to here, or like a capsule check. If there's an enemy within, then instead of spawning the bullet at the end of the gun, spawn it here. That way, it will hit the guy right in front of you. It's the same thing we do with the wall, where if you're right against a wall, it shoots the bullet from you.
A good memory, still cries at a good film, still kisses with saliva, no longer empty and frantic, like a cat, tied to a stick, that's driven into frozen winter shit.
Don't know why I'm using previous position. I guess it's during.
Fitter, healthier, and more productive, happy, in a cage, on antibiotics.
Holy. Wow. What a song. Wow. This is fucking amazing. Holy shit. It might be one of the best things I've ever heard. How do you start game dev in CPP? Just start with the smallest possible project you think you can reasonably do. And increase the complexity as you get better. I have to fucking save this shit. I have to link this to Chris. Hang on. One moment. Electioneering. This is awesome. What to learn in C++? Well, you'll find out if you start a project. I can't tell you everything you need to do. You just have to get started. Start with a main and a loop. This wasn't getting used. Doing DSA? Data structures and algorithms. Someone else shortened that the other day. Generally, you want to prefer things on the stack over the heap. The way you can. Use data structures like arrays over vectors if you know the size of it beforehand. By using the stack over the heap, you reduce the amount of heap fragmentation that you'll encounter, which may not matter on modern systems, but it's good practice. Constantly allocating stuff on the heap can be a little expensive. For my building, I'm making it so when you shoot your gun, if there's an enemy right in front of you, it hits the enemy instead of going over their head, because normally the bullet spawns at the end of your gun. That's all. Nothing too fancy. Takes a little effort there. This isn't it. We want transform.position, and we want a line towards angled vector start position. I think. And collision in this case should be the bullet radius. So we're actually using the wrong radius earlier. I think. Well... maybe not. That's my hitbox. No, this makes some sense. Thank you, Satoshi. Good luck with your degree. This was previously doing a box collision. Right? Do I have a circle on capsule? That shouldn't be too hard, right? There should be a function somewhere, by the way. I need to think about this. I don't think I can just type in the box. I guess I could just do a square collision. You know? My hitbox AABB. It doesn't have to be terribly precise, so maybe just having a square is fine. We'll see how it feels. If not, I'm sure I can just write a circle on them. Hang on a moment. This is spooky music, huh? Oh, dude, no surprises? I fucking love no surprises. Wow. Could be const. XP Gem. Cross-platform game engine modules. XP Gem sounds like a Windows thing, doesn't it? What's wrong with Gem? I guess it's used by Ruby? Why not X-Gem? People might think it's Xbox related, maybe. Like X for cross-platform. X-Gem. Sounds pretty cool. Like Next Gen? X-Gem? It's used by everything. Yeah, but like X-Gem. The X is doing a bit of heavy lifting in there, I'll be honest. Might be able to intuit some of this stuff. I feel like I don't do this. Yeah, we don't need to do this. I was right in my original assumption. I may want to bring back that thing I just got rid of then. This. Line 171. Hang on, I'm being dumb. Earlier today you found out about lightweight 2D Rustlib called Macro Quad. You don't know how to come up with such fitting names. Macro Quad. Maybe you're thinking too abstract. What do you like? I'm gonna call it Toho Library. Toho Lib. Akure Lib. Survivorship bias. Plenty of things with terrible names. What's this? What's something that means? What's something that's dear to you? Maybe you could name it after that. Entity, relative position, X, start position. So let me think. We have our quad tree. We have a hitbox that is large around, assuming this is actually correct. Around the firing entity. Probably should be using this. Fine. Hello. Sorry, I've not been responding. Here in India, most students don't get much exposure to programming before college. Until finishing 12th grade at 17 or 18, you had no programming experience. I mean, pretty similar in my school. Like, I got into it because I was interested as like as a hobbyist. Hey, Mario. I didn't get formal education really until college, which was 16. And we did stuff before that, I guess. In some secondary school, we did a bit of HTML and stuff. But nothing fancier than that, really. Excel, HTML, CSS, not really programming. It wasn't until college when I actually picked, like, computing that I got formal education on it. It's only been 2 years since you started. Seeing the... How did I learn? When I was, like, 8, I got into game development using Game Maker. And it's been 20 years, so... Just find it fun. Pick something fun and skip at it. Could you tell me if you're typing your comment by yourself, by the way? They feel very, passed through an AI. I don't know anyone who types on YouTube with, those extended hyphens. I don't actually know how you even do an... What's it? Not an S-set. What's that thing called? The extended hyphen that the LLMs like to use. That's from, like, M-dash, yeah. I don't even know how you make that M-dash. I don't know how you put that on your keyboard. Your typing just improved the text with GPT. I would start by writing your own YouTube comments. No, not a tilde. You think about Game Maker, how's it like? I love Game Maker. I've showed you Chris's game, right? Her mousey game, she's doing that with Game Maker. I had a lot of fun with it. Thank you, Tumtum. Yeah, I would begin by not using AI. If you're saying you want to rely less on AI while learning, I would not get it to type your YouTube comments. That's a bad habit. Just, you know, if you want to improve your brain and not suffer from cognitive... I was going to say relapse. Cognitive decay, then I would type yourself. And if you think your English isn't good enough, then just type more and you'll improve. Hello, Frog. You got inspired by her game? Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'd recommend Game Maker. I don't know, I had a colleague who wanted to, like, rewrite something that was really trivial and would have taken 2 seconds with Control-D, and he still tried to get the robot to do it. And I was sighing a little bit. You can be like me, I'm not special. You can write code, you have a keyboard, you're typing to me, probably. It's nothing more than that. This is how everyone's worked for the last, like, 50 years. This isn't special. You can do this. Thank you, Adiox. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, here we go. So, let me see. We're getting the entity's collision, so let's pretend this from the player's perspective. We're getting the player's collision. We are... I don't know if interpolated transform is quite correct. Let me check. I think it is. Okay. We're getting the transform of the player, and we're making a hitbox around it that is... I don't think it actually needs to be based on the player's hitbox. I think it needs to be purely based on this relative bullet origin X. So we're drawing a circle around the player from any position that the bullet can spawn from. Fine. And then we're getting an AABB from that. Then we're asking the quad tree, hey, here is our AABB where bullets could spawn and hit an enemy within this area. Let's see. Ignore yourself. Let's say we've found an enemy. And we can even say if registry.tryget on you is not No, this is fine. We do our masking here. I think that's not quite right. Because the players are not masked against the enemies. So I might need to do something different here. And just say, if I'm a player and you're an enemy, or you're a player and I'm an enemy. Learning ML. Oh, nice. How are you enjoying it? Machine learning is really interesting. What are you doing right now? I'm doing this. The enemy... I have a 2D game where bullets spawn at the end of your gun. So if an enemy's over here, then that's fine. They get shot. That's fine. The enemy gets shot. If they're behind the gun, then the bullet spawns over the enemy and they don't get shot. So all I'm doing is trying to say, is an enemy between me and the end of my gun? That's it. Super easy, huh? If so, then spawn the bullet from here. Yeah. And then it'll hit the enemy. Super easy. So I'm just going through... There's a few things I needed to do. I needed to extract my collision data to somewhere I can see it in this weapon system. So that was fine. I now need to check for every entity that's nearby the player. So I've drawn a circle like this, based on the end of the bullet. If there's any enemy nearby, even ones that, you know, aren't in front of the gun, we're going to get them. And we're going to see if you'd collide with a line that I draw between me and the end of my gun. That's the line. This one does collide, so I'll need to think about this. Maybe I'll have to think a bit more about this, actually. It'd be kind of weird if you were shooting away. Like, if you're shooting this way, but it's shot from... hang on. Oh no, I'm thinking about this wrong. It's if the enemy capsule would be hit. So this should work. The green is just potential hits, and then I basically do a capsule collision for all of these, and say, would a bullet spawn from the center of me hit you? Is that right? Yeah, I need to think more about this, actually. I'm doing this a bit stupidly right now. I'm trying to modify what I've done for a wall. So I've already done this sort of code to make sure you can't shoot through walls. It's pretty easy. I just say... we draw a line between ourselves and the end of the gun. We work out any potential walls between us. We also have a ray that we construct. Why not do a capsule test of the bullet and where the enemy is? Why not a capsule test of the bullet where the enemy is their regular circle? Yes, that sounds like what I'm doing, I think. The enemy is their regular circle. That's what I was... Let me re-explain what I'm doing then. You draw the enemies as capsules instead of the bullet. Yeah, but the idea would be that if the bullet would intersect with the enemy, right? Maybe I drew this wrong. Let me draw this again. This is the area where the gun is, right? So this is everything out here would normally be hit just fine. Everything within this circle here is a potential collision, right? I'll color this yellow. This is a potential collision. This is the player hitbox. I'll say that this is P for player. And I will color some circles as the enemy. So there's one here. There's one here. There's one here. So... and let's say that the enemy, or the player's crosshair is currently here. So this is the crosshair. And this is the bullet that would get spawned. So the ray collision would be something like this. This would be the bullet. Forgive me for the slightly dodgy drawing. I hope it gets my point across. Capsule is this shape. So a circle up both ends and then a straight line in between. Anyway. In my logic, none of these enemies right now should get hit. So my bullet should spawn where it is normally, okay? So this enemy would be detected within the ring, but it does not collide with our bullet capsule. So nice. This enemy doesn't get hit, same deal. This enemy doesn't get hit, same deal. Fun. If I'm not explaining it again. I'm explaining it now in the process of. If the enemy is obviously here, then they would collide with the bullet capsule. The bullet spawns within the player. If the enemy is here, there is a thin line of pixels where it would collide with the bullet. The bullet should still be spawned at the center, because it will spawn and likely hit the enemy. Likely. Maybe a couple of them go a little funny, but for the most part, I mean, I could decrease this radius just a little bit to be forgiving. You know, maybe if the enemies, I could add a little buffer. You know, maybe I could say if most of the enemy's radius is within that's something I can fudge. Is how much of the enemy's collision needs to be within this capsule to count. But yeah, basically the point is. Looks like licorice candy. Are you hungry, my Swedish friend? So this one I'm going to mark as a green. This is an enemy that would trigger a hit. This is an enemy that would be ignored, or pink if you like, or fucking light blue. I don't know. I'm trying to pick a color that doesn't contrast with everything else. I've already used red. All right. You get the point, right? So basically, I need to say. Give me every enemy that's within this radius. This radius is the player position with a... Sorry, this circle is the player position with the radius of the bullet distance, spawn distance. And then if an enemy would collide with a capsule between myself and that, then we spawn the bullet within ourselves. Sounds easy. So let's see what logic I've actually put into place. Electrons and photons and stuff. It is drawings of circles. That's true. So, collision is here. I want to make a hit. Am I using this collision? Don't know if this collision is being used. Masking group. I'm gonna just uncomment this for just a moment. Because this is not going to be quite right. My hitbox is going to be a circle from interpolated transform to bullet X. I'm going to call this one hit circle transform to bullet start position. Or how about hit circle within bullet start position. Something like that. My AABB can just be AABB or bullet start position AABB bullet start position. AABB, fine. So this can be that. AABB is an axis aligned bounding box. It's a square. It doesn't rotate. Get the idea. In this case, it's a square. Don't know if they have to be squares. Hit circle, is this Osu? Well, yes, it's the same logic. I mean, capsules are like sliders, huh? If that helps you imagine it, then yeah, it's kind of what we're doing. The center of the circle is transform position, the radius of the circle is the radius of the hitbox. The OSU literally uses hit circles. That's why it's called a hit circle. Add the bullet radius to the circle radius. That is this. Hello, path. That's what we're doing. We're getting the player transform, and we're giving it the radius of the bullet relative origin x, which is this bit. That's this bit here. Bullet radius origin x, whatever. I don't know if that needs to be added again. I kind of don't think so. This is already the position offset that we're applying it at, so this should be perfect. So we're asking the quad tree anything nearby. Fine. This masking stuff is not currently correct, so I'm going to leave it red. We're going to work out the transform of the enemy and their hitbox. Fine. I'm going to rename this to your hit circle. Now, the intersect that we're doing is currently wrong. We don't have a... Well, actually, no, this is fine. So we're saying, is the enemy within our... Why your? Because we're talking about my and your. We're talking about my hitbox and your hitbox. There's two collisions going on. If we say it from the player perspective, then my is the player and your is the enemy. Bullet radius. I don't know. Does it need to have the bullet radius attached to it? Maybe. It would grow it a little bit. Is that necessary? I guess it would buffer it by the... You see my drawing here. It would technically be this, which is, I think, more correct. Yeah, that's a fair point, honestly. This bit here can be bullet radius. Fine. Okay. I'll pass on the bullet radius. I think that's not a bad idea. So I'll just add that in. Something like this. Oops. Be hardly noticeable, but yeah, it's technically correct. That's true. I'm just thinking it might have a bit of forgiveness buffer, so the bullet might actually go through the enemy if they're right on the edge of it. That might be okay. We'll see. What I don't want is for the bullet to constantly look like it's spawning from the center of the player. Like it should really be an edge case sort of thing. There's the bullet radius. Collision.radius would in this case. Let's see. So, if the enemy is within our yellow circles, then we want to make sure that it's actually, we want to cast a ray between the center of the player, and the end of their gun. So that's interpolated transform to start position. That's already what I've done. And the capsule should be that plus this extended radius. Okay. So we're now drawing a... Is that correct? No, I think it should just be the bullet radius, actually. Yeah. Otherwise, this will hit everything. So capsule hull in this case is the bullet capsule hull. Center line can actually be center line entity to end of gun. Or I say start position. Oh, weird fishes. So we're now drawing a line between us and the end of our gun. We're making a hull based on us to the end of the gun, increased by the size of the bullet. If the enemy is within that space, then yes. Otherwise, we return false. Or the enemy, yeah, fine. And this should work vice versa for the player. This masking bit we need to think about, because masking is normally based on player bullet on enemy, or enemy bullet on player. So this isn't quite right. What I can say, I need to think about this. The options for masking group. One easy thing I can do is just check player and enemy behavior. You know, like if I'm a player and you're an enemy, or you're a player and or you're an enemy and I'm a player, and vice versa. Kind of circumvents the masking and grouping, but maybe that's what I need right now. That being said, I may be able to say if my mask, I don't like this is back to front. If your group is enemy and my mask is enemy, or copy the logic from bullet code. Yeah, that's this. But the bullet is not the same as the... Actually, I do actually have... Oh, hang on. I have the collision that the bullet would use. So yeah, I actually can do that. So instead of passing in float bullet radius, I can do collision, bullet, collision. Bye, Mario. That's a nice idea. In which case, I can totally reuse this stuff. I just pass in the collision. Probably should rename this to bullet collision. Start position I want to rename to bullet start position. Fuck. You thought the bullet code wasn't using collision layers anymore. It is. Entity position can be firing entity position. This should work. My mutable reference. These can be const. Mr. Linter. In fact, the whole function could be const. Why are you angry at me? It hates them. Interpolate. For non-reference parameter doesn't really matter, that's true. These are being passed by copy. Now there is a tree, there's a path that we're not... Non-void lambda. Interesting. Oh, do I need to return false at the end of this? Instead. Do you return the bool? I guess I return quadtree.test. Yeah, mutable ref, yeah, fair point. What kind of game are you working on? Hello, Fallen Star. You can have a look in the description. Let's see if this works. Should be easy enough to test, right? I'm going to go to my weapon. I'm going to go to sniper rifle. I'm going to make the sniper rifle shoot really frequently, and I'm going to make it do 0 damage. So I can just run up next to an enemy and just go and test it. I could also make the bullet speed really slow, so you can actually see where it's spawning. Let's see. You can see the game now. Kapong. 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 Very cool. Let's see, sniper rifle. So this is our special sniper rifle. Hey, read access violation, sick. I got a crash. Your collision was blah. Now, why is this? Registry.get collision on you. I guess some entities don't have collision? That's bizarre. That's concerning. This is the first crash. The first crash today. And close the debugger. No, I won't. Let's see. So it's actually the exact same code I'm using here. However, I'm obviously not doing this within... I can hide this if you want a little bit. I'm not doing this within the same system. I related to that all this morning. Yeah, maybe. Let's have a look. I'm also streaming. It's sort of like a form of saving this. Let's see. Stack frames. It's nice that we can look through all of our stack frames. So we're doing our run. We're in update. Fine, fine, fine. Calculate bullets. Well, we're having a look in here. Bullet collision group is 8. Mask is 1. Your collision, I guess, is a null ref? It's your entity. What is your entity? I want to have a look at entity list here. Reverse elements, loose quad tree. There's a crash in the quad tree explicitly. My collision is instantiated, but your collision is unable to read memory on your collision. And your entity doesn't seem to have a thing either. Let me see if I can make a watch. Okay. That's a shame. Entity list. It means your collision is not in valid memory. Well, I was trying to see what my entity, your entity is. Makes sense. We can have a look at our entity list. Space available, current buffer. None of this looks too... Can't look too deeply into this. I don't know if anything about this looks off to you. I'm wondering... Entity list... Quad tree dot. I guess I could look at the quad tree. C++ looks stressful. It's not that bad. Interesting. Maybe I can just look at it within local vars. Well, entity is 5. Very good. Interesting that your entity doesn't seem to... Hello, DevSnip. How are you? Are you involved with dev info? Might be. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably why we've got like no fucking debug information. That's ass. Okay, we can turn it back on debug after this. Pain. Hello, Alphonse. Congrats on the app thing. What are we doing today? I was trying to make it so you can't spawn a bullet if the enemy is right in front of you at the end of your gun. Instead, the bullet should spawn from your center so it hits the enemy. If that makes sense. So if the enemy is away, shoot it normally. If it's within range, then the bullet should spawn from the center of the player. So you don't shoot over enemies. Yeah. It could be that registry.get doesn't assert that your entity is valid. That's a concerning thought. Hang on. I'm gonna switch back to debug. I'm not gonna touch anything. I'm gonna see if this is recreatable. In which case, maybe I'll have to add is valid. This is VS Code. Let's see. We're now just switching back to debug instead of rel with debinfo. Rel with debinfo, my beloved. If only you did what I needed. How's everyone been, by the way? I've been gone for like half a week. Or a week. I was in Berlin. I put some pictures in Discord. You can check the source code of get. Good idea. Because I've been using try-get a lot. Oh. Template? Yeah, okay, hang on. I'll look at this in a moment when it's finished. Let's bring the game back. You know my secret. Which secret? I have a lot of them. You are awesome. Thanks, buddy. A little concerning that it's not happening again. Oh, the frame rate. Why is that running so badly? Holy shit. That's insane. It's quite concerning that it's not happening again. I'm going to assume that... I shouldn't assume anything, actually. Hang on. Let's change the shooting interval to... It happened when you were slamming sniper bullets. Yeah. Let me just reload that. Oh, there's the second shot right there. You saw that, right? It's possible that it only crashes in rel with debinfo. And that the double bullet spawn just happens in debug and is caught. Or is just allowed. By the way, you can see here the code kind of working. You see how the bullet is spawning from the player center, from the end of the gun, from the player center. Is it working the other way as well, though? I think this isn't quite working. It should give you an assertion failure, but it doesn't seem to be. We can look at the code for that in a second. For get. Sorry, why can I not see the hitboxes? Here we go. I have a feeling there might not be an assert. Oh, we noticed there were no asserts for other stuff, right? By the way, my code is clearly not quite working yet. I think if the enemy is even close, even remotely close, it spawns from the center of the player. Which is a little concerning. Okay, we have a few things to look at. I think it's possible that because I was spamming it so fast, I was able to see the double bullet spawn, and maybe that was crashing. Anyway, we can have a look at get. I think they rely on a lot of crap. This is a pain. Restarting Clang D, will you work? Anyway, we have if con extra size of type is 1U, then const cast type as const is. Otherwise forward is tuple. Get. What is get? It does have a sure remove. What does a sure do? It says static assert, non-decayed types are not allowed. Does that unexpected type, is that the same as doing is valid? What does is valid do? Was it valid? Valid says if the pause is within the... Well, it's certainly not doing this. Let me have a think. If I remove penetration from this for a second, we go back to shooting 10 a second. Fine. It should be a little less laggy, because it's not going to go through walls anymore. Holy shit, it's so laggy. Why on earth is it so laggy? Why is shooting a couple of sniper rifle bullets so expensive? That shouldn't be the case. That would imply to me that the SMG is laggy, which I didn't think it was. Let's just restart that. The SMG is not laggy. What is special about the sniper rifle? Is it specifically that it's doing 10 and not 50? Like, is that just kind of the width, the limit? Maybe. This is really weird to me. I guess the sniper rifle spawns a non-zero amount of projectile. Oh! Debug assertion failed. Vector subscript out of range. This is exciting. And it looks familiar. Shouldn't say anything here looks familiar, but it does, I think. Yeah, like... Weird that this is causing... Weird. Where's the topmost stack frame? By topmost, do you mean the bottom? Hang on, let's close all. STL verify. Position is less than... Vector subscript out of range. So whatever we're passing in... Hey Path, thank you. Yeah, we've been learning a lot. Hello Ahmed. Next up. Okay. I'd just like to understand what you're reading, I'll be honest. No guarantee. No. Warning, empty types aren't explicitly initialized, therefore many of the functions normally available will not be able to find. How do I read this? Trying to figure out if there's an assert at any point. Okay. So here, obviously, it's crashing at... Debug level is 0. Oh, it's crashing. It's hitting this STL verify, saying that position is outside of our memory range, right? My data last first, position is larger than or equal to. And this is just part of the Microsoft's code, right? MSVC. So in entity, we are saying packed. In this case, packed is a compressed pair element of collision to entity ID, maybe? Not sure. Compressed pair, container type, allocator type. Okay. So that page size. Page size is 1024. Position is a big number. Fast mod, which has entity assert const experp is power of 2. I don't think that's the thing being hit, is it? Could be. If this if somehow page size is not a power of 2. I'm pretty sure 1024 is a power of 2. It's invalid, that's the important part. The position, like the position's really big, you mean. Is position in this case the entity ID? Question mark. It's not. Entity ID is some huge number, 178265, etc. That's not right. Right? I'm pretty sure the entity should be like up to like 100 or something right now. Entity list 0 is... Is it possible that the quad tree... This doesn't seem right to me. You skipped past the most important fact for him. Well, I was trying to understand if we were feeding the wrong data in. Because entities, I thought... Like, we're using 5. The player entity or whatever is 5. Yet, entity list has 1 element, and it's a huge number. So it feels to me like the quadtree.test is returning, in this sense, something invalid. But we can look through this as well. I'm pinching it. I mean, the value you see when inspecting the entities isn't helpful because it's a bunch of numbers packed together. Is that true? I don't think much about it. Okay. I'll take your word on it. You're absolutely certain that your quad tree stuff is not somehow returning mangled data. It's entity index, generation index, and maybe some flags. Okay, so it's not literally the entity ID in this case then. Even though we are like, you don't find it concerning that where is it? The entity list's 0th element is this huge number? That doesn't concern you? My entity is 5. That looks perfectly normal to you. Okay. I've just felt like the discrepancy between 5 and 178 million or whatever is quite big, but sure. Is that just how NTT works? It could be 5 plus with some really high bit set. Okay. I'll take your word on it. Let's have a look. Interesting that it doesn't tell me which of this. What is tuple? It goes into this get where you pass in a ref to the entity, which I guess could be either of these. We don't need to work out why it's exactly that number. That's fine. I thought the entity ID was literally the order the entities were created in, because usually you see them going up incrementally. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it just sticks out to me, I guess. Anyway. It says here, basic storage is expecting a valid identifier. It says that basic registry is expecting a valid identifier. That's just the index pass and indices get reused. That's why they do a generation counter. Okay. So it's like which... Okay, that makes sense. I'm seeing that it says a valid identifier. Does the even like maybe the... Please let me read this. I'm just seeing in here that it says a valid identifier, but that's not this function, that's the one above it, I guess. Which gets called immediately. Which gives me the vibe that it doesn't actually do its own assertions. If it's immediately calling a function up here, get. I'm guessing that's what both sides of this give us. I feel... What's one up right now? When you say up, I'm going to assume you mean down, because that's what you said earlier. You said topmost, and you wanted me to go up. Or do you mean up as in literally up in the call stack, which is this way? So we come into get. We come into get. And we go towards this other get. Value type reference get. I'm guessing the only difference here is we're getting rid of the const wrapper around it. Up in the GUI. Okay. So it's saying element at. Basic storage, collision entity allocated, collision element at int. And one more. This is our class. I don't see any asserts. It just says packed.first and at this position, which is page size. There's no bounce check at all. I have a feeling that we came across this issue before. I don't remember what the contents was, but that's why I started having to use isValid everywhere. Does that mean that everywhere I'm doing registry.get, which isn't a lot of places? I get that it's not try get, but you'd think that it would do get and then assert on failure, or at least throw an exception or something. So is it possible that we have some invalid entity in the registry? Let's say maybe we've just shot a bunch of bullets, there's sparks, there's all sorts of shit in the registry right now that's been destroyed, that's waiting, that's been tombstoned, whatever method they're using to clear it, and that it's trying to check for a collision with this tombstoned entity, and then it's hitting an out-of-bounds error, or something along those lines. What do you think? Get or in place? I'm guessing this would... Yeah, get or in place does a cpool.contains. So that one's fine, because it has logic for when it's not there. Here I'm doing a registry is valid on player entity. This may be one of the places that I was getting a crash before, so I had to do a registry is valid check. So here I'm doing my bounce check before doing get, which I think is fine. I could also change this to a try get and return, but if the IMO is a it's a synchronized program or synchronous. If the player entity is valid, then they should have a valid transform. So I think that should be okay. Entities asserts pretty much everywhere except get. I wonder why. Do you think it's a miss, or do you think it's a performance reason? Because I would imagine on release, all of these entity asserts get stripped. Maybe that's a PR waiting to be made. Let's see. View center equals local player.get. So here we go. If local player isn't equal null, that's not the case. Actually, no, this is fine. But we do want to do and registry.valid on this. Like this. And then oh, that should be okay. I guess it... Does it dereference it for me then? Oh, it's just an entity directly. Could be for debug performance, but get is fairly uncommon. Yeah, I normally use try get. Dude, this music's lovely. Thank you, On4Word. Great work. What other albums have they got? Maybe I've listened to most of them by now. The thumbnails are a little weird. The music's good. Try get should be relatively uncommon too. Oh, I've been using it like fucking butter on toast. Oh, new Emirichu video. Straight iteration with views. Fair dues. Maybe I'm using it too much. Let's see. Oh shit. New Zelda lo-fi from Game Chops. Can you believe it? I love Game Chops. Absolute cinema, no slop. Game Chops. When did they ever miss? I don't know. Except for that one guy that was uploading AI art with his like non-AI music, so it was kind of a fucking shame. He could have just fucking doodled something. I think he did for his other albums, but they were more careful after that. I don't know if they took down the original one though. Oh yeah, this one's going straight in the fucking playlist. Okay, sorry. So, valid. My team is team entity. So, quite simple. If registry.valid entity, make that a inversion break, or continue, I guess. This could be a one-liner. Oh. No, I've got the braces on. Hell yeah. Yeah, continue. You don't need to just stop. Stop right there. That was really funny. The fucking Dutch airports, when you go to the security, it has like a big fucking red sign that goes, stop. Stop. You go to like an English airport and they're like, kindly stop right there. Like, kindly wait just a moment. This is Chris's joke. I'm recycling it. Credit to Christopher. Fucking funny though. The Dutch airport. Just shut up and stop. We're searching you. English airport? Excuse me, mate. Got a knife in those shoes? No. Ah, it's alright. Chill. It's chill. It's chill. For all entities. So, break it. Your entity. I don't know if break is quite right here. But all entities in the entity list. That's not right. That should be continue, right? Oh dear. I put a pin in that. That's really bad. So if we're not valid, then get the hell out of here. And then that should cover all of these gets. And our own entity should be getting checked here. .get, you're not being covered. No. Okay, remove the pin. I'm dealing with it now. There's also breaks. Yeah, I'm just doing things one at a time here. I guess I can do it now, that's fine. Yeah, this is really bad. I'm kind of amazed. Hang on, maybe... Is this one of the reasons that the player glitches into the wall? Basically, just we're saying that like we're not continuing to loop over a list if one of the entities doesn't match this criteria. So if the player is up in the list and it's meant to check for everything but a player, it would just skip everything. I'm kind of amazed this shit was working. Hang on, let me do all my for loop checks first. This shouldn't affect wall collisions. Yeah, but I need to check how I'm handling wall collisions. I guess it's not using the quad tree, so it's unlikely to have this kind of logic, but I just need to check. I wonder if this has affected other bullets. I have occasionally seen bullets going through enemies, but I thought it was because it was too fast, but maybe... I don't know. Maybe this was causing problems. What kind of game are you making? Hello, Frogger. Have a look in the description. You should find everything you need. Destroy entity is already checking for valid. Another place that we had to do this. Destroy wasn't doing the valid check for us. Very funny. Okay, let's check for breaks now. Just do break. Break here should go out of the switch. I found this nice feature in VS Code. If you double click on break, it will show you where it's breaking out of. And it's just in here now. So if I go to my continue, that's correct. Yeah, because we've destroyed the entity in this branch. If this was a break, it was indeed breaking out of that loop, yeah. How did I learn C++? I had a course, I had a module in university. I did my dissertation in university in C++. I made a mini golf game, which you can see here. This was how many years ago? 7? Doesn't feel that long ago. And then this project, which I've been doing for like 6 years, and then my current job, which I've been using C++ in for a year and a half? A year? Year and a half? I don't know. So it's a mix of things. Let's see. Get is being covered by is valid. Okay, I think this is all covered now. I'm just like paranoid now. Is valid. Is not valid. Fine. I think this is everything, right? Sorry for my paranoia, but now I'm concerned. That's really weird, isn't it? Okay, another weapon system. So, let's say... well, if... registry... stop. If the person shooting the weapon is somehow invalid... actually, I kind of want to, like... You know... Cert, firing entity invalid when firing gun. Weapon. That should literally never happen, so this will be very concerning. Hello, fucked education. Can I get away with this? A cert should mark to the compiler that this is a dead end, right? Hello, Duke. Seems like you know what you're doing. It seems like it, yeah. Let's keep it there. Looks scary. You can do false and string. The string evaluates to true. Did I do assert? I didn't do throw, did I? There you go, see what I'm talking about. That was in weapon system. That was in here. Yeah, there you go. I guess I could just do throw. Music's good, isn't it? Hello, Destiny. I'll just throw. I could also do assert registry valid. Whatever. Okay. I'll read your comment in a second. It looks good. And instead of break, you want to be continue. A little concerned about some places I've used break now. Let me just check my physics system. Just in here. Which doesn't look valid to me. Why would you... You're breaking out the while loop, actually. That's completely valid. I think. Current trace remaining is 0. We've destroyed it. Yeah, that's fine. How many breaks do you think I've used? Yeah, I can check through all of these. Not right now. Alright, this is fine. Let's hit run. Earlier you were concerned about entity numbers. Are both entity and your entity in quad 2 condition the same type, i.e. both handles or indexes? They are both ENTT entity, whatever that structure is. I was under the impression that it was entity ID, but it seems like it's actually more compact than that. It's like an ID and then some mask applied on top of that, which is something to do with the generation cycle, which is, I assume, how many times through all the indexes we've gone or something. It's strongly typed. You can't just pass an index accidentally. Oh yeah. Oh, bottle of water. Yeah, mate. Yeah, bottle of water. It's Tuesday after all. You can throw standard runtime error string to get it to print it out. Oh, I might do that. Good idea. Does throwing a string not just work, or does it just return a 0? Let's see. Forgive me for the frame rate sins, but we'll see if we can make it crash again. I wonder if that's fixed the double bullet firing somehow. Because maybe it was just firing the next frame by accident or something. Oh, it's not crashing yet. I don't know why the sniper rifle explicitly has such bad frame rate. Because I can fire into the enemy, that destroys it immediately. It doesn't seem to be crashing, does it? Wow, Duke. Well, it's not crashing. That's for sure. Okay, nice. Whatever I've just done has fixed a thing. The catch block in MAME doesn't handle const chars and exception types. Or pretty good catch block. Okay, I'll fix that then. The shooting from center thing is clearly not working right now, by the way. It's actually extremely lenient. Why? Why are you like this? Nice to know that it's doing something, I guess. Let's have a look. So if I'm out here, that function shouldn't be firing. But here it is firing. Interesting. So distance is 4 tiles. It's saying... Oh, because it was only checking for the... It's checking on the AABB. That's it. Okay, I'm being stupid. I'm being dense. I'm saying, is there an enemy nearby? And does the bullet spawn where the bullet spawns? Of course it's fucking firing. Oh. Fine. We want to check the enemy position, I guess. God, I'm stupid. Well, it's a pretty easy bug, I guess. Being stupid. Yeah, mate. What intersects do I have then? I have box intersects, box and ray. How do I do a circle on... Circle on capsule detection? That shouldn't be too hard. Or is it? It's not even a... Well, it is a circle. Because the enemy's collision obviously matters here. Circle on capsule should exist. Do you have it? I don't have it. It should exist in the world, I'm sure. I can maybe Google for a solution. Hello, PP. Okay, let's just say in donut. Oh. Oh yeah, these were just the things you were missing, right? So donut intersects, you have a few... Oh, you have quite a lot. So we just need to get the your collision, which is a circle. Your hit circle. So we simply do your hit circle, bullet capsule hull. Bam, that's it. Ooh. Easy game. I don't need the breakpoint in there. Okay, we don't need to fire this fast to the test. Sniper rifle, you can shoot once every 10th of a second. Dude, this reload assets button was such a smart idea. Why are you so fucking laggy? Is it the tracer? It must be the bloody tracer. Oh, it's me, tracer. You know, Overwatch. I think this is maybe it. It should work the other way around. I wish I could make them stop moving. I never added like a break legs button. I think this is kind of working. You see here the bullet is firing at the end of the gun. But if it would intersect with the enemy, then it fires from your center. Yeah, there we go. You've played Overwatch. Disgusting. Alright, we just returned this to how it was. Reload assets. Looks good to me. You got CPP to work. Congrats, Buster. Kabomp. 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 There's no sound effects. You gotta make your own sound effects in this game. Alright, so if I make the enemies shoot me, they should actually hit me if they're close by. Hang on, let's kill some of these lads. You're in Visual Basic sorry, in Viz Basic instead of VS Code. Visual Basic? Or is Viz Basic something else? So the enemies now, if they're right in front of me, should still hit me, which was a problem before. I did not realize, by the way, this was going to be my problem to solve in today's stream. I started stupidly, like every stream, saying, oh, this will be easy. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to YouTube as well. Yeah, I'm multi-streaming. Don't tell anyone. You should see them. If you look in the bottom left, you should see the web platform they're on. Yeah, look at this. So this guy, even though his gun's end is here, he's... Okay, you need to stop. This guy is still... still hitting me. Which is exactly what I wanted. Hi, YouTube. YouTube and Twitch, you should say hi to each other. It's not often you get to hang out. This has now solved a problem that I was having, which is that enemies would miss you if you were really close. Look at that. Means your rocket won't like just fire through the enemy, which I think it was technically doing before. It now hits the guy right in front of you. Just stay on your side. You could just say hi to each other. Man, the screen shake is aggressive. No! Goodbye, health pack. No. Alright. Well, great work, me. Oh, you're the best. Thanks. It's kind of nice seeing like little things get ironed out like this. Oh, I had an idea the other day. I was gonna say, if the enemy notices the distance to you is much shorter than the movement distance, then they should try and fire. And the impact of that is like, if there's a really thin wall between you like this, let's say like there's an enemy like here, and I'm here. As the crow flies, your distance is only like 2 blocks. But as the A-star algorithm goes, you know, this is like a 20 block distance. So So I was going to think, like, if the enemy notices that, they should be more inclined to shoot. Because it probably means that there's, like, a wall between you guys. Like, if I'm here, and the enemy's down there, it's probably faster for it to try and tunnel to me than that. Does that make sense? Holy shit, this SMG is useless. You can actually kind of see the bullets spawning inside of you, which is a little concerning. I guess I could have the bullets immediately spawn on the enemy and explode. I don't know if I mean, the solution's... Was that a double bullet? I can't tell. No, it's just a ricochet. I guess we'll find out if we're still getting the double bullet issue. Is it spawning just to the right? And then being re-angled later? That's not right. It should spawn with the correct angle. See how it's... I don't know if you can see on stream, but it looks like it's spawning for the first frame at the wrong position. You obviously won't see with, like, the sniper rifle. Oh, I forgot. I made it so enemies, if they get hit by you, I think they get, like, aggressive. So if you hit someone, like, off-screen, even if they can't see you, they'll, whoops, they'll be aggressive. So if I bounce the bullet and hit something, it now knows I'm here. Not quite Hotline Miami, but thank you. I think it's pretty cute. What was I saying? Oh, it seems like when the bullet spawns, it's at the wrong angle, so I should probably fix that sprite. Is it because now the weapon system is happening late? It's happening after something? Maybe? I'm gonna hazard a guess that it's the linear movement system, maybe. Yeah, so the first frame, it's at the wrong angle. So probably should spawn it at the right angle, huh? How do I want to do this? Well, this is for... Yeah, actually, this isn't... It's set scale and angle. Is this the only place? Tick, obviously, we're doing it. Physics system, we're doing... Yeah, it's being delayed by a tick. So in our entity factory, when we are spawn bullet, and we are creating a sprite... Wherever that is. Is that here? Well, this, here we go. This thing needs to be rotated. How do I want to do that? Probably do that right at the bottom. Cheapest and best way to learn game development. Write a program on your computer. This is multi-platform. This will run on basically anything. You can learn programming for free if you already have a computer and an internet connection. You can search the web for tutorials and guides. You could go to your local school or library and look at a book. You could read the documentation, although that's a bit rough if you're just starting, maybe. Depends on the language. Anyway, set angle and scale. I'm normally doing this in offset system. It's really this. I guess we haven't got a previous position yet. That's fair. I guess I could do position plus where it's going. That makes sense. Or do I already have an angle in here somehow? Ah. This is it. I can just add on bullet velocity and then that will be fine. So where did I do this? Set angle and scale on... Am I returning there? Yeah. Also... Advanced auto bullet transform is this. We're going to pass in bullet transform, blah, 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 blah. And then instead of previous position and position, because these will be the same thing, we'll do the position plus bullet.start velocity? I guess it could be normalized as well. Doesn't really matter. Is that right? Could be. I guess I can just plug it in and see. I'm basically just pretending where it may be in the future, just so the angle at least looks a bit more correct. Any advice as a fresher? You're starting your first degree of college next month in machine learning. Machine learning sounds interesting. There's a lot of machine learning majors these days. It was pretty, like, rare course when I was younger. When I was in uni. I only knew, like, one person that did it. Alright, I think it's now spawning at the right angle. So good job, me. Any advice as a fresher? Do your homework. Attend all the classes. Don't skip lessons, do your homework. When you're doing your exam, do lots of past papers, probably. Depends on your uni. My uni published all their past papers online, and they were all really similar, so you could just memorize that. Just do them all until you're really good at them. It helps a lot in the test, assuming it's the same pattern. I don't know if it's the same pattern. Might not be good advice anymore. And use your brain! Your brain is a muscle, and the more you use it, the more those neuron pathways will be strengthened, and the more better they will be at the thing you did. So, don't turn your brain off, because otherwise it will stay that way. Also, drink a lot. No. You're a Gen... Are you Gen Z or Gen Alpha? You might not be drinking anymore. When I was in uni, freshers was all about, like, getting drunk. That was when I did my... That was my brief stint as partying. That was when I used to do vodka Red Bulls, which I think are banned in some countries, or at least strongly not advised, because they cause heart palpitations. Legality of vodka Red Bull. They definitely shouldn't have been selling it to an 18-year-old. Perfectly legal some places, some bars might do. I think so, it's not illegal maybe, but maybe some bars ban it, because it's really bad. Basically my thought when I was like 18, at my peak mentally, right, was I'm tired, but I also want to be drunk. Vodka Red Bull. Don't do it. Terrible advice. A degree is very useful. I would not have been able to get any of my jobs without a degree. They all... Holy shit, what is that emoji? Name at least. All of my jobs so far has required a degree, so I'd get a degree if you want a job like mine. There's lots of jobs that don't need them, I guess. What did you drank this year, so you think you have one thing ticked off? Get lots of sleep. Actually, like, this is my advice. When you take your exams, have, like, as much sleep as you can force into your body and eat lots of good food in the morning. I used to treat myself with a poached Burford brown egg, which were the fancy eggs, and I was a really stingy student, so this was like a huge expense for me. Poached egg on sourdough toast, which was also an expense. But I was like, the mental fucking buff from having poached egg on toast before my exam and having a good night's sleep. It was good. When you're tired, your brain is worse, if that makes sense. You are worse when you are tired. So be awake. God tier advice? Health. Now, really the advice, if you go on holiday, look for like the cutest Hatsune Miku figurine that you can and put it on your desk. This will give you the courage that you need to go. Look at this! I got this in Berlin on the weekend. A really cute Miku. This was like 35 quid. Great deal. Really cute Miku. Keep her on your desk. And if you have questions, you can, instead of rubber ducking, you can ask Miku. And she'll help. Classes on ranking algos were one of your favorites. Tell me if you get to listen to the video where they're explaining sorting algorithms, but they add sound effects on it. And it goes like... You know the one I mean? The fucking bubble sort video? That shit was good. Turns out BOGO sort is actually good. Sometimes. Technically, it could be done immediately. You're just randomizing the fucking set every time, right? It's bonkers. Man, Jack, you've had a rough day, huh? Do you have any positive things to say? Did you have a nice dinner today? Never wanted to pick this degree, you were kind of forced into it, but now you're looking forward to it. What are you doing? ML? Or are you doing computer science? Also 3 AM. Gotta fix that one. Not that I was getting good sleep as a student, but yeah. Okay, let me think. It's 11 o'clock. Should I still try and do something? Don't be a plonker. Excuse me. Common RNG to context. I guess I did that. Do something on level up. I don't want to do that. Hey, Mabdo. Is there anything really simple? I've got my Trello on the side. Quantum BOGO sword. Let's go. Time to have an energy drink. I've got work tomorrow. Don't let you shoot while switch while shooting. Can you currently shoot weapons while switch weapons while shooting? That should be fixed. Maybe. Should it be fixed? It's not a bug, is it? So I was just wondering, I'm holding down 2. I was wondering if holding down the button for SMG while using a rocket launcher was going to make the rocket suddenly shoot like a million times faster. You know, like the Dark Souls 1 speedrun technique where you get like a rapier and you use that with the fucking giant club and it lets you use an insanely fast attack pattern with a really slow weapon and like slam your way through the game. I thought maybe I'd accidentally added that to my game. Doesn't seem to be the case. Just imagine if like holding down 2 and 1 let you shoot rockets at the space of a fucking SMG. That'd be crazy. I know you can still get glitched into a corner. I don't really know why it does this, I'll be honest. The hitbox doesn't appear to move at all. It's just the sprite and draw. And it's not like always. It's like based on the speed that you're moving at. It's very weird. This like corner thing. Like in this world, it's just this one corner here. It must be like a floating point problem. You can see... Oh, you can't see. I can see that my position is actually jittering on the edges here. It's doing that even on this corner though. It's really weird. Okay, well that's not the thing. Oh, my keys don't work. Oh, you can type in this. How does that work? I thought I just started typing in this. Oh, you can hold down tab. Interesting. Never noticed. Alright, let me think. What could be a fun, easy thing? Enemies can push you through walls. I don't think that still happens. Oh, let's see if we can do the A star thing that I was just talking about. So, in enemy system... somewhere I want to check... I want to know the enemy's distance and movement distance differences. Man, you guys are so negative. You gotta look at the bright side of life. Wireless mice have lower latency than wired mice. Isn't that lovely? I can do gaming and like twist my mouse around like this. The future's amazing. Let's see. Path exists. Get a player entity within line of sight. I usually pay for my software. Am I not doing the actual distance in here somewhere? I have time since last seen player, which implies that they're not nearby, but I don't think I'm storing the actual distance. Am I? Yeah. How about this? We can just make a function called is player close but far. Is player close as the crow flies? Absolute close but relative distant. That's a bit of a shitty word, but you know, I can always use a fucking comment and say like but then that implies that you could just name the function better. Damn. False, and then we'll just say we need some way of saying we got player distance coming in here, vec3 enemy position, vec3 player position, and we'll just say const auto absolute distance equals distance to player position. My music ended. Enemy position const auto relative distance equals IDK. Streamer. I don't watch them, no. I don't watch them. Let's see. Chuck on something else. How can you put your soul into a program? That's a question for the Adeptus Mechanicus. I'd recommend buying some beeswax candles. These could... you could be a no discard if you really want. Hello, British teacup. Flux sleep schedule. It's 11:13 here. Not that late. Although I will try and get this done sooner than later. It's 3 for you. Whereabouts are you if it's 3? You're later, so are you... East... plus 5 hours, plus 4 hours... Like East Europe? India? No, India's 6. Where are you? Afghanistan? That's not plus 4, is it? How's everything going? Pretty good overall. I just got back from holiday, but back at work as well, so a bit of both. I made an amazing lasagna for dinner. I didn't put it on Discord yet. I have a picture I can show you of it. Really good lasagna. This is what you need to have like a good fucking day, is to make a lasagna. Not that you can see the photo apparently, but you have to take my word on it that like this was like a... Why is it so hard to see on the fucking camera? This was a banging lasagna, and I've got like... I can eat this for the whole fucking week. That's awesome. Oh, you are in India, you rounded off. It's 2:45. Yeah. Fair dues. Hey. Oh, hello, Volo. Thank you for the Minecraft series. Oh, thank you for enjoying them. That's a very sweet comment. Good to hear you've survived. All the best. Thank you. All the best to you too, buddy. Thanks for popping in. Let's have a look here. Currently I'm not storing the path anywhere, but I totally could, right? The enemy behavior could just store either the most recent path. Maybe it should do that. Probably could store the most recent distance. Target position. Pathing algorithm. Path exists. Okay, how about this? Pathing algorithm. Entity, enemy behavior, you can have a float, most recent A star distance, or current A star distance, relative distance to target, something like that. I guess you don't need to do that. Relative distance to target. So, in this case, path.size. You can actually just store the path and walk towards back and pop back whenever it's reached. Yeah, I'm leaving those optimizations for later. For now, we're actually just recalculating the A-star algorithm every so often, which is pretty bad for performance, but I'm putting it off until a day where I want to just do a whole reboot. So I'm not touching that right now. I'm just doing something small for now. Is it path.size? I'm guessing you're a size T, right? In this case, path. Each section of the path should be a whole tile. I'm not doing that refactor now, no. What's the hardest part being a programmer? Naming things. Hello, Bomber. Interesting, bot. How's your day? Yeah, just call it tiles to target. Tiles to move to target. I How would I suggest for you to spend your time? Well, I mean, if you've just started, I think that's a good place to start, is starting. Learning. Don't give up. Try your best. You can do it. I believe in you. I'm behind you all the way. What are you looking for rendering? Then you're a float, right? So round, ball. Or just make it a float. Let's make it a float. That should do it. Now later on, I can make use of this. Say, what was it? Is a relative? Relative distance is, I guess I'll need to pass in the enemy behavior. So is that an actual bot? Okay. I thought it was a person being funny. I can hide user from channel, but it doesn't delete their messages from the on-screen, I guess. I thought they were just someone being silly. Hello, Dave. Yeah, just try your best. That's what matters, right? They're gone. Yeah, I banned them. Or whatever YouTube calls banning. Why am I using distance 2? That's stupid. I should use the same thing I'm doing earlier. That's a float, right? Yeah, I don't need the squaring. Does it not work with a Vec 3? Do I have to use a Vec 2? But you could do length with a vec3. Should be fine. I think A minus B is equivalent to distance. Oh, am I doing minus before? Oh, I was doing minus. Sorry, I missed it. And this is back to front. Should be transform minus target. Maybe. I don't know. Distance AB is a bit more descriptive. Doesn't that involve a squaring that I may not need? Question mark. Their equivalent is exactly the same machine code. Oh, okay, that's fine then. Now, would I put enemy position, player position? I think it should be in this order. The two versions are the same, but without the square root. Yeah. Squared distance. But then I'd have to square... I mean, I guess square root is faster than squared. Whatever. This is fine for now. That's a really good phrase. I use it a lot. Is player closer relative than absolutely? Let's just change this to... Is player absolute distance closer than relative distance? It shouldn't be player, it should be target. Actually, I think that was fine before. That's not good. Is target absolute position closer than relative position? Squaring is much faster. Yeah. Because then I could just square the tiles to move to target. Square by default. Yeah. I mean, this should be fine for now, I think. My only point is in here. When we are thinking about moving, yeah, I want Euclidean distance because, as I explained earlier, is that? Let me think for a moment. The point is, you can have a thin wall, like so. You can have the enemy here. You can have the enemy here. Sorry. You have the player here. Or the enemy here, and the player here. I guess I could also just make it if they're using A star. It may often be true. Within a buffer distance, the point is basically like, in this case, the enemy is actually quite far from the player, even though there's a wall in the way, like a thin wall. In this case, it doesn't matter. This is obviously the logic for using direct line of sight or otherwise, but it's also, you know, there's technically a wall in the way here. Whatever. My point is, like, if this line is larger than a certain amount, let's say like 5, something arbitrary, then the enemy should be more likely to shoot. That implies that there's a wall in between that it could break. So what I could say is, instead of this, I could say, is relative distance larger than or get absolute minus relative distance, or get relative absolute delta. Something like this. I feel like relative should always be higher. Maybe like this. Because relative is either line of sight, so it's the same as absolute, or it's further because it's around a wall. I hope that makes sense. Looking at the other function, you're just comparing it against the other distance, so you can just square that to match. Yeah, that's fine. And then the if you're returning a float like now. Oh, the less than thing. Why am I using square root? This shouldn't be square root. This should be how? This and 2. Sorry. Getting a little tired. Or is it 2 like that? Is it the other way around? This to the power of that is how I would have imagined. Exponent? What's it called? I guess I wouldn't be doing it here. This should be tiles to target. I should be like this. Like the 2x. Well, hang on a moment. The scalar version just does x times x. Let me reiterate this. Move to target. This should be tiles to move to target squared. So this is the path size squared. In this case, this is distance squared. And then obviously this is not necessary. Absolute distance. Wait, not sense in squared space. Let's just get something done. It's end of day. I'm gonna stop soon. I'm gonna go to bed without finishing something if we don't just do it. Anyway, look, the whole point is when it's thinking about changing state, let's see, if it's alerted, if, what was it? Get target absolute, this thing. I have to somehow pass in the enemy behavior. Do you have the position in here? We'll have to get it. We're saying this is larger than, let's say, 5 blocks. And increase the odds of shooting to 100%. Did you change it back to distance, or is it still distance squared? Yeah? We've got a squared thing and a squared thing. Is distance 2 not squared? This is squared. I'm just getting a squared thing and a squared thing and giving you a big number. So I guess 5 might be too small. It should be maybe 25 or something. Who knows? You said it doesn't make sense to be in squared space if you're trying a distance, but you also said that it's significantly faster to do a square than a square root, and in this case I don't really care which number space I'm in. It's just a rough number to say there's a big wall in the way. I don't really care if I have to say if it's larger than 25 or larger than 5. It's a really insignificant fact here. You're the one who said that. Well, I also said that, but it's a true fact, right? Square root is more expensive than a square. So if I'm already dealing with squared distances, what's the point in dividing it just to use 5 to check instead of 25? Like, I don't care. Square root is more expensive than not doing a square root. Yes. Fine. In this case, I'm doing a... I don't care. Look, I don't care. This is not... It might not even work. The code I've got may not even be correct. Okay? So let's just move on there. John Carmack's inverse square root. Have you seen, there's a video somewhere saying, that was showing off, like, Source Engine if you start, or the Quake Engine if you start changing the value of pi. It was really cool. Anyway. It's fine as long as you're doing comparisons. Yeah, that's a fair point. And I feel like we've had this conversation before. It's probably the last time we did this. It doesn't even need to be player entity, I think, does it? It does. Ever subtracting though. What, these two squares? I'm subtracting a squared thing from a squared thing. Is that bogus? If the enemy is 25 blocks away absolutely and 25 blocks away relatively, and I minus them, it's 0. It's not the same as subtracting linear distances. Okay. Sure. I'm so tired. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's do this differently. Let's come up with a better name some other time. I don't know Shorts Hub -v5d. You should use Google. Have a look in the description. Ahra. Thank you, Path. I'm nearly there. Have a look in the description, LM Rans. Let's just say if delta is... So let's say if the enemy is like... I don't know, like... Is delta the right one? Maybe this isn't quite what I want. I don't know if this needs to be its own function. It might make more sense to remove this. And just use it here so I can access everything. Yeah. Yeah, these are good. They're on Game Chops. You can look at them here. Thank you, Alamrans. So in this example, I want to say if the enemy's within like 4 or 5 blocks, let's say 5 blocks absolute. So if they're within 5 blocks, and the delta is larger than, let's say in this example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's say the relative distance is like more than 10 or something, I don't know. Then, oh, we can just say this. Bit made up. You get the idea, right? It made you const, didn't I? Yeah, Game Chops make really good music. It's publisher, I guess. They have lots of artists uploading on that channel. I guess the delta's not really being used here. Could be involved. I can say if the delta's less than, I don't know, 20. Because if it's like really far away, then maybe you don't shoot stuff. I don't know. This is completely arbitrary. Basically, I'm saying like I've decided what a small thin wall is. Hey, Lemay, don't worry. How are you? If the enemy is on the other end of a thin wall, then shoot. That's it. Hello, Teacup. Hey guys. Hello, Supercoop. Great time. It's 1:45. Thanks for the raid. What were you up to? Hello, Araya. Hello, TK. Hello, who am I? Hello, Raf. Hello, Sai. How are you guys doing? I'm working on my game today. I've done a couple of things. I was actually thinking of ending the stream in a moment because I've got work tomorrow, so you can see the very end of the stream if you like. You did a little game dev. How's it going? What are you working on? Today I've made it so normally the bullets spawn out at the end of your gun, but if an enemy is particularly close, then the bullet spawns from the center of you, so you can actually shoot the guy instead of the bullet spawning on the other end of him. That was nice. That took a little bit of work. Thanks Awakening Ice Tea. This is Game Chops playlist. I should add this to my general playlist though. Good point. Hello Tara. Name Tyson. How am I? I'm doing alright, thank you, Lume. Or Tia, Flowly, Luma. I'm a little sleepy. I've got work tomorrow again. Thanks for waiting. Yeah. The last one was Ballad of the Windfish. I love Elo. Banger OST, very good taste. Anyway, the thing I've just done was I wanted to make it so if there's a thin wall between you and the enemy, let's say the enemy is here, they're more likely to shoot than try to walk to you, because the enemies, if I give him his gun, we spawn a few more enemies. Usually they're more likely to run to you if you're far away, because well they're trying to move closer. But enemies can shoot through walls, so I wanted to make it so if they notice that you're on the other end of a thin wall, they're more likely to try and shoot their way to you, as opposed to pathing. You see these guys here, they aren't even bothering pathing. They're trying to, and now they're trying to path because they're particularly far away, but they're still shooting a little bit. They're destroying your cover, basically. But now, I guess the delta is 20 blocks. I guess I could stop and see what the delta is like for some of these guys. I've just kind of made up some numbers. I could make it so there's only one guy, and then set a breakpoint, I guess. I'm kind of curious. What numbers am I working with? So with this guy that's just to my north, the delta is 11. Relative distance is 19. Absolute distance is 7. In this case, I guess delta is less than 20. Maybe we'll make delta more like 15. I'm just sort of making up numbers here, but I would like them to walk around if the wall, you know, if they're particularly far away. 15 blocks might be a bit of a stretch. Let's see. You. Should have a look. So in this case, the delta is 0.3 because there's just a small 1 block in the way. The relative distance is 7 blocks. The absolute distance is 7.3, apparently, which is a little weird. I'm going to be honest. Oh, absolute distance is yeah, that makes sense. Does it make sense? Yeah, it's 7 tiles to move via a star, but the centers of the exact transforms is a little different. A little guy. Whereas if I go over here, you are now, the delta is 2, so there's like a little bit of work. The absolute distance is 7. Relative distance is 10, so it's going to take 10 blocks to get here. He's 7 as the crow flies. There's only a small delta of 3. So he should be not on the other side of a small wall. Let's think. Absolute distance is... Oh, it's not less than 5. So I guess I could give it a absolute distance... What did we say it was? 7 or something? We can say absolute distance is less than 10. Relative distance is larger than... it. That's kind of what the delta is doing, isn't it? Well, it's more like a top cap. I would like them to run away if they're that far. Maybe more like this. Well, let me think. So if he's within 10 blocks, absolutely. And the delta is... let's say... larger than 0, but less than... well, that's pointless then, isn't it? Maybe 10's fine. 15. The point just being, you know, if they're close, shoot the wall. In this case, the delta is... I'll put this on the next line. Delta's 9, relative distance is 0. That's odd. I guess it's just not been calculated yet. It's not the right naming here. Well, absolute is as the crow flies, so it's the absolute distance, it's the literal distance, it's the distance. Relative distance is more like the distance that they would have to move with the walking, with their movement algorithm. It's not really been thought through though if they're using line of sight or whatnot. So whatever. It's a little jank. I'm kind of tired though, so I think I'm going to leave it there for now. It's good enough just to have a little bit of flavor. Occasionally it's true, right? Let's see. It's not true in this case. That's not what the words mean though. That's crazy. I can rename it. I could always call it distance as the crow flies and distance as the mouse runs. There you go. That's a great place to leave it for now. Path distance, actual distance, sure. Let's give it poop and fun distance. Yeah. Absolutely. As the crow flies and as the mouse runs. Makes a lot of sense to me as the sole developer of the game, so I'm going to leave it like this, because it's funny. If they are less than 7 blocks... And it feels weird to check the delta and this. I feel like you just need to do one or the other. The delta's kind of hard to think about. I could always remove it and just say... and he is more than 15 blocks away, or let's say... 7... But it's also, you know, less than, like, 20. You know, I think this is what my delta is really meant to be for, but I'm shattered, so I'm just going to stop here. I think it was a good stream. I fixed some actual problems that I had. I don't know if you can call them bugs, because they were working as intended, but, you know, having your gun actually shoot the thing that's right in front of your face is pretty important, I'd say. Even if it was literally doing... you know, what it said on the tin. It's nice that you can just run up to this guy and then click, and it still hits him. See? That's a good thing, and then whatever else I'd been doing today, I've kind of forgotten now. Something about making them move sometimes. Good work, me. I'll probably be back tomorrow. I hope you liked the stream. I guess I can look for someone to host. I haven't hosted on Twitch in a while. No one's really streaming. Find your own favorite streamer and support them. Apparently all my streamers are offline. So yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow or another day. I stream most evenings. Good night for now. Bye bye.